Hey everybody, welcome to Studio 64. My name's David. I've been searching the interzones for more science, space and tech news to share with you. Came across this at RT.com. Yes, Cairo demands UN action against its neighbour. Yes, apparently Egypt and Ethiopia have been at odds for years over the construction of a hydroelectric dam on the Blue Nile. This should be interesting. Egypt has filed a complaint with the United Nations Security Council accusing Ethiopia of threatening regional stability with its alleged unilateral actions regarding the controversial Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD, project on the Nile River. Yes, gird your loins. Yes, that's the one. According to Cairo's foreign ministry, the move on Sunday came in response to a recent statement by Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announcing the fifth phase of filling the GERD without consulting downstream states, particularly Egypt. Yes, the dam is located on the Blue Nile River, which is the source of 97% of Egypt's water. The infrastructure, which has been under construction since 2011, has a planned capacity of 5.15 gigawatts, which will make it the largest hydroelectric power plant in Africa once completed. However, it has been at the centre of a dispute over its impact on downstream flows into Egypt and famine-struck Sudan, both of which have expressed concern about the project. Yes, wonderful. Yes, let's protect the environment by destroying it. Yes, and as usual, I'll leave the links to the main article below the video so you can pop in, check out these embedded links, go for a bit of a deeper dive if you want beyond the main article. It does make for an interesting read. Yeah, I've seen these hydroelectric dams. They're very good, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately they're not the environmental friend that everyone seems to think they are in building and constructing them and everything else. And of course, you've then got to, you know, where the dam is, and you can see with this picture here with this water when up here, you know, this area, entire area becomes flooded. A lot of the times there are villages there. Fascinating, isn't it? So a lot of people are displaced. On August the 20th, and all the trees that go as well, which I think is quite interesting. On August the 25th, Ahmed posted photos on X, formerly Twitter, showing the opening of the dam's spillways in Ethiopia's Guba district, which said released an additional 2,800 cubic metres of water per second. This carefully regulated release will significantly enhance agricultural productivity, boost power generation, and improve resource utilisation throughout the region, the Ethiopian Prime Minister stated. Now, Egypt responded by calling the move unacceptable and a continuation of Ethiopia's provocative approach towards its neighbours. It also violates international law, according to the Foreign Ministry, including the GERD Declaration of Principles signed in March 2015 by Addis Ababa, Cairo and Khartoum, as well as the Security Council's presidential statement of September 2021. Egypt has negotiated in good faith with Ethiopia for 13 years. Negotiations have been halted after it became clear to everyone that Addis Ababa wanted them to continue indefinitely as a cover while it created a de facto situation on the ground, Cairo's Foreign Minister Badir Abdel Atti wrote in a letter to the United Nations Security Council. The complaint to the UNSC comes as tensions between the two African nations rise over Cairo's support for Somalia, which is embroiled in a dispute with Addis Ababa over a Red Sea access deal. Good old Addis Ababa, yes, the capital of Ethiopia. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The environment seems to take a back seat. I'm not a climate change person myself, in the complete hype and mania over climate change and getting green energy and everything else. Obviously, I want to protect the environment. You know, you want clean air and clean water, and you look at these things like electric vehicles, and they're bloody polluting the place. You know, to manufacture them, and then you get a hydroelectric dam, and it does incredible damage to the surrounding environment. It's quite fascinating to me. We've got one here in Australia called the Stowe River Hydroelectric Scheme. And it was done built in the 50s and the 60s type of thing, you know, long before we had anything to do with climate change. And as I say, the amount of damage that was done to the environment building that was just absolutely incredible. I mean, it works, it's fine, but, you know, I personally believe, in my opinion, that we definitely should look for other methods such as fusion power, because we've got the technology down pat. I've done videos on that, how we're powering ships that can run for 8 to 10 years that you can literally reverse into a dock, not literally crash into a dock, but reverse up to a dock. And if there's been sort of like like a storm event or something, you can connect it to a town and power the town up for, with zero emissions for a year. So, and now I'll put up another video how fusion, we haven't got it there yet, obviously, with nuclear fusion, but we're getting all the pieces working that eventually will come together and we'll get a viable fusion reactor. A nuclear fusion reactor produces, the only waste it produces is water. And a little bit, hardly any sort of radioactive waste at all. But even a fission reactor nowadays, the amount of waste that comes from a modern fission reactor is just negligible. And as I said, we need to seriously look at it. If you're a believer in climate change and everything else, you've got to seriously look at it, because it just fascinates me that we've got this power that's they're building now these engines in Queensland for these vessels here in Australia. I said, for God's sake, why can't we use those power stations like they do in Canada and power entire towns, these mini reactors? It's just fascinating to me. But no, we're going to go with wind and solar, and every time it turns night time, there's no there's no power to come from the solar panels. I will charge up the batteries that spontaneously combust, and then if it the wind turbines keep exploding and bursting into flames, and you can't get they're too high up for the fire brigade to do anything. And then if you're in a colder climate, the blades freeze over and the snow covers the solar panels. It's insane. I better switch on the coal-fired power station then. Sorry, I'm going to take all those away. Fascinating, isn't it? Drives me crazy. Not against green energy, but for God's sake, can we at least make sure it works properly before we start taking over entire power grids with it? It's nuts, because you've got to pull the coal-fired power stations out of mothballs. Dear, oh dear. Ethiopia signed an agreement with breakaway Somaliland on January the 1st to increase 20 kilometres or 12 miles of coastal land to build a Marine Force base, reported in exchange for recognition of the breakaway region's independence. Egypt accused the landlocked state of being a source of regional instability and vowed to defend Mogadishu against its threats to its security after the Somali government declared the deal illegal and described it as a land grab by its East African neighbour. Last week, Egypt delivered military aid, including weapons, to Somalia for the first time in more than 4 decades, following a defence accord signed earlier this year. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's supposed to be this wonderful Green New Deal, and then we forget that A, the damage it does to the environment, and B, the political ramifications. You're probably going to end up with a local war going on, another local war going on, and the damage that does to the environment. All because of arguments over politics and the use of something that's supposed to be a green, bloody, environmentally friendly, bloody energy project. Human beings fascinate me. We really do. Unbelievable. All right, well, my name is David. Thanks for joining me for another Studio 64 Science, Space and Tech News update. I shall see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're up for it, drop a comment down below the video, because I'd love to hear what you think. All right, take care. And as I always say, if you can't be good at it. And as I also always say,
fascinating.